Australia. Bravo!
How thankful we are.
We are deeply grateful to the Australian Embassy for the generous donation of 90 wheelchairs for our children with disability.
Continuing support shows the commitment that the Australian government has to support people with disabilities.
In a region marked by challenges, partnerships matter more than ever. At a time when Lebanon has faced some of its most difficult moments, international collaborations have played a crucial role in supporting its people and institutions. Between Australia and Lebanon, a long-standing relationship has continued to grow through diplomacy, development, education, and humanitarian support. Today, we welcome His Excellency Mr. Andrew Barnes, Australian Ambassador to Lebanon, to reflect on Australia's engagement, its achievements, and the future of the Australian-Lebanese partnership. During his tenure, Ambassador Andrew Barnes worked to reinforce the deep diplomatic ties between Australia and Lebanon, ties that are rooted in shared values, mutual respect, and a strong people-to-people connection. Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning.
We'll start our interview today with your first time to Lebanon. So when you arrived in Lebanon, what were your main priorities as Australia's ambassador?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I think any ambassador, when they arrive, they want to improve the bilateral relationship between Australia and their host country, and that was certainly my objective when I arrived here. We have a long relationship, as everyone knows. There have been Lebanese migrating to Australia for a long, long while. A lot came in the Civil War from 1975 and onwards, but there were many also a long time before that who migrated to Australia. And then, of course, we had Australians here in Lebanon earlier than that. So there's a lot to build on, and the foundations of the relationship are there between the peoples in Lebanon and in Australia, and I was keen to develop those relationships further.
Yeah, we can see that you did a lot here for the Lebanese Australian community. And Lebanon went through political, economic, and social crisis during your term. How did this context shape your diplomatic mission?
Yes, when I arrived in March of 2022, Lebanon was really in the depths of the economic crisis. I came after the 2019 bank collapse and the Thawer and the port explosion, and then also COVID. So Lebanon was really struggling with these big challenges, and I was very conscious of that when I arrived, that a lot of people were doing it very tough here. They were struggling. The middle class had been squeezed and were finding it hard to make ends meet. And so really I wanted to make sure that there was a good understanding in Canberra, our headquarters, and in Australia generally, about the challenges that Lebanon was facing, what the government was trying to do. And so I had to learn about what was happening here, learn what was happening for the average person in Lebanon, and then ensure that a realistic picture, a true picture of what was happening here was conveyed back to Canberra.
What values guided Australia's approach to Lebanon throughout these challenging years?
Well, probably empathy. You know, we need to understand what the average Lebanese person was struggling with. They'd lost their savings in the bank collapse, their pensions had gone, their salaries were not worth much. So Australia was keen to do whatever it could to help Lebanon recover, and I think for that it's important that the governance and the institutions here in Lebanon are repaired and strengthened so that governments here now can get on with their job, that they have the tools and the levers that they need to ensure that they manage and can govern Lebanon in as efficient way as possible, so that Lebanon can recover. You know, Lebanon has so many assets, so much going forward. It has the people, I guess, are what people understand about the strength of Lebanon, that the people are educated, they're motivated and hard-working, and although they don't like to use the word resilient, they are resilient. They can cope with a lot of trouble, but they're also, we understand, tired of trying to make ends meet and put up with the problems. They want the problems in Lebanon fixed so that they and their families and their children and their country can reach its full potential. And while they're struggling with large government debt or bad, underperforming government services such as electricity and water delivery or education, these things need to be fixed. And so we at the embassy, we have to understand that and then work out what role Australia can play to support these various things that need to be fixed and strengthened here in Lebanon.
Yeah, we saw that you visited the ministers of energy, the prime ministers, prime minister, and we noticed that you really wanted to just help to fix these problems that Lebanon is enduring, and the Lebanese. So, and how would you describe the state of diplomatic relations between Australia and Lebanon? I said it?
Yes.
Between Australia and Lebanon during your tenure?
It's a very good relationship. We are so grateful for the Lebanese government, for the President, the Prime Minister, all his ministers, the Council of Ministers. They are very open to us. We have a very good dialogue, very good relationship with them. They are always eager to engage with us, to chat with them, and I really appreciate that we can request a meeting with anyone in the government, and as soon as possible they will respond and we can have a face-to-face meeting. It's very useful, very important. It's sort of the foundations of diplomacy, and in many countries you wouldn't get such good access and have such a good relationship, but as an Australian ambassador here, I feel very lucky and privileged that we do get such a good reception and response from the Lebanese people there. They're very warm to us, very open to us, and you don't get that in many countries. So it helps to be a diplomat here if you're Australian.
And this is part of the Lebanese hospitality we have here.
Yes.
And what were the key political dialogues or milestones achieved between the two countries?
I guess ensuring that we have continuing and close dialogue, so that any minister in the Council of Ministers can WhatsApp me, pick up the phone to me. We talk often with the whole range of ministers, so that if there's something that we can do, we can respond, or if I have questions, they'll be very happy to respond. What else? We had our Deputy Foreign Minister visit Lebanon early in my time, and he learned a lot about Lebanon in his visit. He had meetings with all the senior ministers and also the commander of the LAF. And back in Australia, his electorate has a large number of Lebanese people. So he was very pleased to be able to come and see where they came from, and to talk to them, meet them, see firsthand what their country was about. So bilateral visits are always good. It's a challenge for us here in Lebanon because Australia's a long way away, and we'd sit down in the southeast of the globe, down in the Pacific, and for much of the world, the Americans and the Europeans, and they see that as area as the responsibility for Australia. We have to look after the islands in the Pacific and Southeast Asia. We're the big power down there, we're the big country. And so much of Australia's official development assistance, overseas development assistance, goes towards the Pacific Islands and Papua New Guinea, those countries there. And we don't have the opportunity to travel easily to Lebanon, such as the Europeans and the Canadians and Americans can, the North Americans. So it's more difficult for us here at the embassy to keep the Middle East and Lebanon on the radar in Australia. I must say your diaspora in Australia, the Lebanese diaspora, are very good at reminding the Australian government about what's happening here and about the challenges and the support and help they need. So that's done there, but it's always good to be able to get visitors from Australia here, and when they do, they learn a lot about the country.
So Lebanon is becoming more and more strategically important to Australia.
Yes, and I think generally the area that it's in the Middle East, as everyone knows, it's an area that has one challenge after another. And so while we don't choose to engage in the Middle East because of crises, we end up having to engage in the Middle East. It's not the foreign policy we want to have, but it's the foreign policy we have to have, as we say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Australia remained actively engaged during Lebanon's multiple crises, especially during the Beirut explosion, where one Australian citizenship lost his life,
Yes.
toddler
Yes.
Isaac. So what forms of support you provided for the Australians here and for the Lebanese also who had been affected by this crisis?
Well, I wasn't here during the crisis, but from what I understand, it was the Lebanese diaspora in Australia who really rose to the occasion. They were very active in raising funds to send back to Lebanon to support the people here. Both individuals and organisations, for example, the Lions Club in Australia and the Rotary Club, they provided a lot of equipment and support. I know that they fundraised and gave incubators to St George's Hospital that was devastated by the blast. They lost all their equipment, and so a lot of equipment for women who've just given birth to the birthing units was provided from Australia from privately raised funds. The Australian government did send over some aircraft with materials and supplies for medical aid and emergency supplies, and we also gave money in cash to a lot of organisations that were helping to rebuild Beirut after the blast. But we've also taken an active interest in following the investigation into the port blast, and we've given a lot of moral support to the government and Judge Bitar in his investigation. This is very important. As you said, a young 2-year-old Australian, Isaac Oles, was killed. He was in the apartment with his parents, and some glass came crashing through and killed him. And so, he was one of about 240 Lebanese who died. And so Australia has the Australian government and the people have a continuing interest to make sure that the investigation is carried through to its end. I meet regularly with the judge for updates from him on his investigation, and we hope that it will conclude soon and find some answers to the questions. I mean, even just the fact that the people who lost damaged property from the blast, many of them have not been able to access insurance claims because of there's no responsibility yet. No one can say who was responsible. So the insurance companies, some of them are not paying out all they should. So the investigation is very important, and the Australian government and the embassy here, we're very keen to see it conclude as soon as possible.
We all hope that justice will take its place. And you have in the embassy the Australian aid. Can you tell us how the Australian aid helped Lebanon? What did this entity do to Lebanon and to the Lebanese here?
Australia's been providing humanitarian support primarily to Lebanon for many years now, particularly in view of the crisis in Syria and the large number of Syrian refugees that Lebanon had to support. We've been providing a lot of money to UN agencies to help not just the refugees here in Syria, but also the Lebanese communities who are supporting the Syrian refugees, because we recognise the burden that Lebanon has had to carry through that. So we've been providing support to UN agencies involved in health, education, and also the World Food Programme to provide food for vulnerable Lebanese communities. So we have that humanitarian part that mostly provides support through UN agencies, but we also have our small grants program. Every year we run a program where Lebanese NGOs can apply for funding for small projects, and that's always a very popular program, and we provide support in a whole range of things. It might be from providing finance to redevelop a community kitchen so that they can have new equipment, or it might be providing solar panels to provide electricity. We do quite a lot in disabilities. I think the video clip you showed at the beginning, me visiting a disability centre in Tripoli, where we provided many wheelchairs for the children who are in the centre, so that they can have mobility, disability inclusion. Supporting people with disabilities is a big priority for the Australian government. So our small grants program also has an emphasis on that as well.
Yeah, and you have also your direct aid program?
Yes, that was what I was talking about. Yeah, our direct aid program, the DAP program. So we run that every year, and we support between 10 and 15 projects. There's not large amounts of money, but it's high impact. It really does make a difference to people's lives. It might be in supporting women, learning how to do beekeeping and providing them with basic equipment to start up a beekeeping business, or it might be a women's community group providing them with equipment that they need to outfit a centre for the women to meet. As I say, disability and women, gender issues are a priority for that as well. And
we saw also that you did also with the DAP, you helped the medical assistance in Adoud in the Shuf area also. We saw it.
Yeah, we've done that, and we're just about to announce support for a small ambulance project up near Tanareen as well. So it's those sort of small equipment projects that, I mean, this ambulance, for example, in Tanareen will service a large area and a lot of people. We did that about 10 years ago in the same place, and now they needed re-equipping, so we've supplied them with new equipment again. And the program you mentioned before, it's a great little health centre that provides support for several villages, and to be able to make that sort of impact is very rewarding.
Yeah, of course. You know, these small things make a difference, a big difference in people's lives.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is all done by the Australian embassy, or you have also the Lebanese Australian diaspora that...
No, this is just an embassy one, yes. Sometimes we will partner with a diaspora group in Australia, and the example I gave of the ambulance in Tannerine. The ambulance itself was funded by a group in Australia, and then we provided the equipment for inside the ambulance. So we do partner with Lebanese groups in Australia, but we mostly partnering with Lebanese NGOs here in Lebanon.
Yeah. So you don't have a main area, a focus on areas for helping Lebanon. It's just like medical, women, disabilities. You support only these. You don't have solar panel. You don't have a main focus.
No, the priorities for the Australian government are helping people with disabilities and providing support in the gender sector. So helping women and children. So that's our main focus, but we can provide, as you say, in the medical field or for youth sport sometimes. So it's across the field really. As long as it's a good project that is sustainable, that after we provide the funding, we are confident that the program will be able to carry on for many years, and that it has a good impact. We're very happy to support it.
Yeah, and we noticed also that you have the rescuing the animals also, and you let the birds, the injured bird, fly again. So you have also this animal.
Well, actually, on that, I don't think our embassy was providing any financial support, I have to admit, but we are looking at helping. It's a very good organisation. I think it was, in fact, my Polish colleague. The Polish embassy has provided support to them, but we were very interested to see what was going on. I guess the environment is another priority for the Australian government, and so to provide moral support for a good, small, local organisation that's trying to help the environment, help the birds, it was a good one. And you know, it's I think countries need to learn, people need to learn that shooting birds, migratory birds, is not a good thing. People should try and find a sport that doesn't involve just killing birds and injuring them. And this NGO helping to rehabilitate injured birds is an excellent one. So it was interesting to visit. And you know, Lebanon is uniquely placed. It's right on this migration pattern from the birds going from Europe to southern Africa and back again. So you know, Lebanon would do better protecting the birds and supporting tourism to people to come and see the birds rather than killing the birds.
Yeah, seasonally we can see them in Lebanon skies.
Yes, yeah, beautiful.
And also, what about the global Clean Up the World campaign?
Yes,
you did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Global Clean Up the World campaign was actually started in Australia. An Australian sailor who was sailing around the world back in the 1990s, I think, a long while ago, or maybe 1980s. He was shocked to see the pollution in the oceans where he was sailing. So when he finished sailing around the world, he started up in Australia a campaign to clean up Australia. And the community took that up. They were very pleased with it, and then the government came on board, and it became a very big thing in Australia to keep Australia beautiful, to clean up Australia. And then from there it became it got taken on by many countries, so now it's Clean Up the World, and there's a Clean Up the World Day. And so all our embassies around the world, if possible, they will try and support that, bring publicity to it, bring awareness of the need for everyone to look after the environment. And so at our embassies around the world, we will generally take some time on that day of Clean Up the World Day to go out and work with local communities, local groups, to make a little bit of difference by cleaning up your local community, clean up Beirut, and I participated in that this year. I've done it most years here, and it's a small effort by us, but it brings publicity to the need. It brings awareness, opens people's eyes to what can be achieved. And we paired up this year with a wonderful local group. I was down near the Corniche near the Zaytuna Bay, and over a couple of hours, it was a very hot morning, we got many bags of rubbish we collected, and it just shows what, you know, a handful of people, there was probably about 24 of us, and this local group goes out every Saturday morning, I think, and spends a few hours. It's a wide range of people, and they just pick an area, they clean up, they get many bags of rubbish, and it's something that, you know, I admire, and I wish that everyone would copy.
We all hope so.
Yes.
Let's talk about the education, Australia, and the education here in Lebanon. So you supported also the Code Brave?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us more about this Code Brave.
Yeah, Code Brave is a wonderful NGO. It is essentially teaching young children in public schools who don't have a lot of material advantages to learn to use computers. Coding, I guess. I'm not an expert. But I went along one day to a classroom in a school near our embassy and watched this class learning how to use computers, and they had a wonderful teacher that the Code Brave, the NGO, brought in, and they run a series of classes for these students, and to see the students, how engaged they were, how keen they were, how much they enjoyed it, it was amazing. Code Brave, they supply the computers, they supply the teacher, and the children get really expert education and tailored teaching on how to use computers. That, you know, everyone knows that computers are essential for everyone's lives these days, but for some children, they don't grow up in a house with a computer. They don't have access to intuitively learning how to use a computer from a young age, and so without the opportunity that Code Brave gives them, they'd be at a big disadvantage. So it's a small NGO, but it's going very well, and we're very pleased to support them. Yeah.
And what about the art and culture? Recently you brought Joseph Tawadros, the Australian player of oud and singer, to Lebanon. So how was this experience? How the Lebanese saw this Australian person come and from Australia to here, as you said, already said that the distances are not easy, and he came and he visited Tripoli and he played his oud. So how was the impact on the Lebanese?
It was a very good little initiative that we did. I mean, Joseph Tawadros is an extremely talented guy, very funny guy, lovely person. So we were very pleased to bring him here. But we did this in conjunction with the Beirut Chants Festival, which is on at the moment. I think tonight is the last performance tonight at AUB. The Beirut Chants is a wonderful institution of Beirut anyway, and that we've been very pleased to support. That Joseph Tawadros was born in Egypt, actually, moved to Australia when he was 3 years old with his Egyptian parents, so grew up in Australia. And the oud in the Western world is not well known. It's not like it is here in Lebanon. So for me, it was a great learning experience to see what a wonderful instrument it was. And he's very talented. He did a great job. He gave a performance at Beirut Chants one evening that was very funny and very well attended. And we also took him up to Tripoli to play for a group that we support, a group of that looks after children with disabilities and people with disabilities, and he played and jammed with them up there, and that went down very well. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it is. It is when we have the music, the art. It blooms the country.
Yes.
And
I should say there's so much talent here in Lebanon, art, music, and to be able to be part of it was wonderful.
Yeah. And what are you doing for the as a commemoration of the Australian soldiers who came to Lebanon during World War II?
Well, every year, all around Australia, all around the world, and in Australia, and all around Australia as well, we celebrate, no, we commemorate all the soldiers who've been lost in wars around the world, going back from the Boer War in the 1880s, 1890s in South Africa, right through to the more recent wars. And it's like the November the 11th, the UK memorial for the First World War and the wars on the 11th of November. We do ours on the 25th of April, which is we call Anzac Day, the day that the Australian and New Zealand soldiers went to battle against the Ottoman Empire in Gallipoli. So we commemorate that every year on the 25th of April. We hold a commemoration service in the Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery here in Beirut. And it's a very solemn occasion. We do it at dawn. It's a very moving ceremony. So we do that every year. But the Australian Army, the Australian soldiers have a long history in this part of the world, in the Middle East. We had soldiers here in what was then Greater Syria in the First World War, and then in Lebanon in the Second World War. We lost many hundred soldiers in the First and the Second World Wars. So it's an important time for the embassy to commemorate and remember the Australian soldiers who fought and died. There were in fact some Australian soldiers of Lebanese heritage who were with the Australian soldiers here in Lebanon. So they were Australian soldiers with Lebanese parents who came back and were fighting here, and sadly some of them were killed. But after the fighting anyway, on a more positive, happy note about our soldiers here in Lebanon, when the fighting finished in 1943, the war was still going on, so we still had our soldiers in the Middle East, in Lebanon, but the fighting in this part had finished. And so the Australian Engineer Corps of the Australian Army helped to build the railway from Beirut to Tripoli. And that was a very successful railway, as everyone would remember, here in Lebanon, until sadly it fell into disrepair during the Civil War, I think. But there remains a number of bridges that the Australian Army built across the rivers and the valleys going from Beirut up to Tripoli. And so the Australian Army plate is still on these bridges, so people can still see that. And then following that, they also went up to Cedars and helped build up the 1st Lebanese Army's mountain regiment. So we have a history up in the Cedars as well, which is lovely.
Yeah. And what are your future plans as for Lebanon, for the NGOs, for the Lebanese, as an Australian ambassador and the Australian embassy here in general?
Well, we hope, I think, like all the Lebanese, that the Lebanese state will rebuild, that Lebanon will recover from the crisis, and that Lebanon will be able to stand on its own feet and won't need to ask for help from Australia and the rest of the world. You know, as we know, Lebanon has a lot of resources, its people, a lot of potential. It shouldn't need to rely on other countries. So my hope is that Lebanon will recover and will be strong again and be a prosperous country, and it will be a great partner for Australia and an area of stability in the Middle East. I think there are reasons to be optimistic about Lebanon here. It's the government here is very good. It has a new reformist government where I think everyone agrees that the Council of Ministers and the Prime Minister and the President are working as hard as they can. They are really working in good faith, doing all they can to help Lebanon recover and repair the institutions, strengthen the independence of the judiciary, reform the financial sector, the banking sector, strengthen the education sector again to bring it back to what it was. I think the government's doing a great job. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic here for Lebanon. And then with Syria next door, Now there's more stability there, and Lebanon and Syria can work together and both prosper, I think.
Well, it's our wish anyway.
Yes.
Let's go to the personal level. What did you like the most about Lebanon?
Oh, I think definitely the people here are wonderful. I've been to many countries, been on many postings in my career, and I haven't met people so warm and friendly and so generous as the Lebanese here. They'll kill you with kindness here. They're always inviting me, they're always feeding me.
But you are still very slim, Your Excellency.
I have to work very hard to stay slim because everyone loves Lebanese food, and there's a lot of it. So I've enjoyed meeting the people. They're very interesting to talk to. Intellectually, it's been interesting to try and understand Lebanon. It's a complicated country, as everyone knows. The history is interesting and the politics is interesting. I've enjoyed that, and I've also really enjoyed getting out and about around the country, you know, from the north up in a car and Cedars and the Kadisha Valley. I love Tripoli, the authenticity of the bazaar, the shops in Tripoli are beautiful, and the Corniche there. Of course, Byblos and Batroun are wonderful. Swimming there and enjoying those old cities is lovely. I love Saida and the old city there. Tyre has its amazing Roman ruins, the Hippodrome.
The heritage.
And yes, the heritage is amazing. The villages of the south, when we could travel there before the war, I loved travelling down there. Hasbaya and Marjayoun, beautiful little towns set up, you know, beside the at the foot of the mountains there.
Hermon.
Mount Hermon, and then of course Baalbek and the Bekaa Valley is beautiful. You know, the ruins in Baalbek, the ancient ruins there, are breathtaking and amazing how they could have been built. Every time I go to Baalbek and look at the ruins, you wonder how they were able to be built 2,000 years ago. And then the wineries, and then skiing in Faraya and Lakluk and Cedars is a lot to explore and see in this country. It's beautiful.
We saw a video of you plunging.
Yes, yes.
So where it was?
Oh well, I just wanted to show off the beautiful seascape that you have, the coastline. And so a friend of mine did a backflip off the rocks. I thought, well, I should do that as well. So I did a backflip off the rocks near Batroun with the sunset in the background to show off Lebanon. So
which moments during your term left the strongest impression on you?
Gee, there's so many to choose from. I think, as I say, getting out and exploring the country, seeing the beautiful landscapes. I've done a lot of hiking, and the number of beautiful views you get from around the country, it's all breathtaking. And everyone I meet says, oh, you must come to my village, it's the most beautiful. You must come to my village, it's beautiful, and the views, and I go everywhere, and it is true, they all are beautiful. So I've got a lot of good, strong memories, but probably the people, I think.
Yeah.
I've made so many good friends in my time here, and I hope that they'll come and visit me in Australia when I go home.
And as your term comes to an end, what do you consider the most important achievements of the Australian Embassy in Lebanon?
I think building on my predecessors to build the profile of Australia in Lebanon, working with the Lebanese diaspora. They are amazingly committed to their country, the diaspora in Australia. They come back here repeatedly. So we as an embassy and myself, we've worked hard to keep the links with them, to keep encouraging them to come and keep encouraging them to see the beauty of Lebanon and to remember the importance of the Australia supporting Lebanon.
And finally, what are your hopes for the future of Australian-Lebanese relations?
Well, I hope that they will remain strong. I think that the Australian-Lebanese relationship is probably one of Lebanon's strongest relationships. You know, there are Lebanese diaspora all around the world, in Brazil, West Africa, Europe, North America, but I think the Australian Lebanese relationship is the best and the strongest, and I hope that it stays that way.
Yeah. And to end up, we saw a video of a former Australian ambassador who came back to Lebanon to dance labke.
Oh yes,
Yalla
yes,
netball.
yes.
So will you come back to Lebanon after your tenure to do something like this, or?
Yeah, that's one of my regrets, that I didn't learn to dance the labke early on in my time.
Or something else, maybe another
Come back
Lebanese.
with more skiing here. I love the skiing in Lebanon. And I love the beaches and the swimming, and I love the hiking. So maybe I'll come back and walk the LMT, the Lebanon Mountain Trail. That'd be great to do from the north to the south. 3 weeks of hiking and seeing the country. I've hiked a lot of it, but not all of it. So that's something I could come back and do.
So we hope that you'll come back.
Yes,
And
I hope so.
You'll do the LMT.
Yes.
And we thank you a lot, Your Excellency, for your time. It was really, really very nice to talk to you and to receive you here in our studios. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Florence. And I should also say that I did enjoy visiting your beautiful village of Jazine, and where the Australian soldiers were during the Second World War. And in your beautiful old house. That was a very special memory as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you very much.